Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to talk today a little bit about the Koch brothers. Specifically, I'd like to talk a little bit about their environmental record because, well, unfortunately, I think that's one topic that really tends to not be covered in the mainstream media. So, without further ado, I'd like to move on to my first point on my nice little fact sheet that I've got here. According to the University of Massachusetts at Amherst Political Economy Research Institute, Koch Industries is one of the top 10 polluters slash emitters in this nation. Now, most of you watching this video right now are most likely not that surprised to hear this. And frankly, I wasn't that surprised either. But I want to go ahead and give you a couple of specific examples here because, to be perfectly honest, I think a lot of people aren't aware of just how dirty these guys are. At least I wasn't until, I started digging. So, first example here. I want to tell you a little bit about the Corpus Christi scandal. In September 2000, a federal grand jury in Corpus Christi, Texas, returned a 97-count indictment against Koch Industries, Incorporated, Koch Petroleum Group, for violating federal clean air and hazardous waste laws due to the release of at least 91 metric tons of uncontrolled, untreated, carcinogenic benzene. So, yeah, not really a pretty deal here. Second example I want to give you. I want to tell you a little bit about the scandal in Rosemount, Minnesota. In March 2000, Koch Petroleum, which operates a refinery in Rosemount, Minnesota, was sentenced to pay a $6 million criminal fine and pay an additional $2 million in remediation costs to the Dakota County Park System in the U.S. District Court in Minnesota. This is the largest federal environmental fine ever paid in the state of Minnesota. Koch admitted that it negligently discharged aviation fuel into a wetland and an adjoining waterway. Even though Koch was aware of the problem, it did not develop a comprehensive plan to recover between 200,000 to 600,000 gallons of released fuel until June 1997. In addition, their way of recovering the fuel destroyed a portion of the surrounding ecosystem and wildlife habitat. Yay! In a separate offense, Koch dumped 1 million gallons of wastewater with high ammonia content on the ground between November 1996 and March 1997, and also increased its flow of wastewater into the Mississippi River on weekends when, of course, no one was monitoring discharges. These actions, obviously, allowed Koch to circumvent the weekly monitoring and reporting requirements of its wastewater discharge permit. Oh God. Sorry, this just makes me so upset right now. But I should probably move on to my third example here, which I think is even more shocking than the two I just mentioned here. Third point. Koch's negligence toward environmental safety has led to tragic losses of life, unfortunately. In 1996, a rusty Koch pipeline leaked flammable butane near a Texas residential neighborhood. Warned by the smell of gas, two young teenagers drove their truck toward the nearest payphone to call for help, but they unfortunately never made it. Sparks from the truck ignited the gas cloud, and the two ended up being burned alive. The National Transportation Safety Board determined that the probable cause of this accident was the failure of Koch to adequately protect the pipeline from corrosion, and of course, the ineffectiveness of Koch's program to educate local citizens about how to respond during a pipeline leak. Ugh, ladies and gentlemen, this just gets me so upset. I mean, for one thing, I can't help but think about, you know, all these neocons out there who are just running around and saying, oh, I'm proud to be pro-life. But the trouble is, I personally fail to see how giving people cancer or getting people burned alive is pro-life. So, yeah, I don't know. If someone can explain it to me, the logic behind all of this, please go ahead. But as of right now, I'm just totally baffled and really, really upset about all of this. Just so you know. One final point I'd like to make here, before I forget, is about a March 2010 Greenpeace report, which shows that Koch industry foundations have contributed from 2005 to 2008, so just a 3-year span here, nearly $25 million to organizations that oppose clean energy and climate policy. So, you know, all those groups out there that are screaming, global warming is a hoax. Those kind of companies, you know. This does not include oil and gas lobbying of $37.9 million. And for those of you who are curious, by the way, the top recipients of this generous donation money would happen to be Institute for Humane Studies, Mercatus Center, Americans for Prosperity, Cato Institute, and last of all, but absolutely not least, the Heritage Foundation, of course. So, anyways, I think I'm going to end my video here because I don't want it to get super long, but just in case you are interested in learning more about the Koch brothers' carbon footprint, I will be jotting down in the info section of this video a few helpful links that you can go and check out if you're interested. So, thank you for listening to me today, ladies and gentlemen.